Hey everybody, welcome back to Conscious Quilting. Today we're going to be doing a free motion quilted placemat using 3 different types of quilting. We're actually going to be doing walking foot quilting, ruler work quilting, and free motion in this piece. This is a great quick practice piece that I did in my free motion quilting club, and it was a big hit, so I thought it'd be fun to do a video for it. For this placemat, you will need the following: cut of fabric 19 by 13, one cut 21 by 15, a cut of batting 21 by 15, quilt thread to complement your fabric, your walking foot, ruler quilting foot, free motion quilting foot, and a straight edge template for quilting. We're going to begin by marking our 19 by 13 cut of fabric. We want to mark in our straight lines that we're going to be sewing in with our walking foot. Using a cutting ruler, line up your 3-inch mark with the edge of your fabric on one side. And we're going to mark in that 3-inch line. Then we'll move the ruler down a 1/4 inch from the first mark and mark again. We want to make sure that our lines are straight and even and perfectly parallel. What we're doing here is breaking up the field of our fabric into several quilting zones. This will help to kind of control and contain the quilting that we're going to put in. Now we're moving the ruler down another 3 inches from the second mark, and we're going to mark again. And then we'll move it down another 1/4 inch and repeat. We're going to turn our ruler and go to the next side. And again, we're starting 3 inches in from the edge, and we'll mark our fabric. Move it a 1/4 inch, and we're going to mark again. Now we're going to move down 3 inches from that second mark, being careful to align our ruler, make sure it's nice and straight, and then we will mark. And then we'll move a 1/4 inch again. And mark again. Once this marking is complete, we can prepare to move on to our sewing machine. We're going to have our walking foot or dual feed activated on our sewing machine and simply begin stitching in those straight lines. We want to be careful not to rush too much when we do this part so that we can avoid developing pleats in our quilt sandwich. The walking foot or dual feed helps with this part of the process to help prevent getting pleats, but it's also going to help just not to rush through this. It's very tempting to do so. Try to avoid rushing. You may find that you need to kind of tease the fabric a little bit as you're quilting along, especially when you get to the point where you're crossing your stitch lines. You'll see rolls developing in your quilt sandwich. And if you see this happening, you see here I am teasing the fabric a little bit and just pressing down on it, trying to prevent it from turning into a pleat. That's what we're trying to avoid. And even if you do get a pleat, it isn't the end of the world. Now, we're ready to move on to the ruler work part of the show. You're going to need a ruler work quilting foot on your machine, Confer with your sewing machine dealership to find out what the correct ruler foot is for your sewing machine. I'm using a low shank ruler foot here. And any straight edge ruler work quilting ruler or template will work for this trick. I am lining up the ruler. I have it pressed against the ruler foot, and I am angling the ruler a 1/4 inch in with each pass. And I'm moving around my square. As I do so, and you can see in the video, the square is turning in on itself. It's a spiral geometric design. As we spiral in, it develops this wonderful, wonderful effect. It looks very professional. It looks like you know what you're doing, but it's not a lot of sweat and it's not a lot of work, which is great. So it works out very well. My students really loved doing this and enjoyed seeing such instantaneous results, getting that instant gratification out of this process. As we continue spiraling in, eventually we will run out of room and it will start to morph from a square into a rectangle and then into a triangle. When you get to the triangle part, that is when you should stop. Once we have our recursive square quilted in, we're going to be ready to move on to the free motion quilting part of this project. So we'll switch then to our regular free motion quilting foot. Here I've got my free motion quilting foot on my machine, and I am doing a simple stipple in this open space. Now, a simple stipple basically looks like a jigsaw puzzle. That's all you're doing, is acting like it's a jigsaw and stitching in, keeping a nice, smooth, even motion to your fabric. Remember to breathe deeply. Breathe from your stomach, not your chest. Don't hold your breath while you're quilting. You're not going to get good quilting that way. You want to breathe deeply and keep your fabric moving smoothly and evenly. This actually goes pretty quickly when you're quilting on your placemat and just using a basic stipple. It's a great filler, and it's very basic. This is a very beginner stitch. You just want to remember not to repeat the same motion too many times. And here at the other end, on the other side of the recursive square, we're going in and filling in with that stipple. Once we get this complete, we're going to be moving on to our paisley design. That's going to be a little more challenging, but it's a lot of fun, and it's very good practice for getting smooth, even motion with your fabric and your needle. Now we're ready to begin the paisley, and we're just hooking around about 3 times, and then we start another one. Hook around, then I'm going to sneak in between those 2 and do the 3rd one coming out from between them. Hook around, then I'll start another one. Hook around, and we just keep building that out in different directions. This takes a little more time, definitely takes some practice, but as we move along, it fills in the space really nicely. Once we get all of our paisley area filled, that's the whole placemat. You can always add more in the other negative spaces, but sometimes less is more in quilting, as in so many other things. Here I am quilting along, getting closer to the edge and just filling this in. I'm trying to make sure that my paisleys are going in many different directions. This helps to create visual interest. Once I get the placemat done, I can go ahead and bind it in a complementary fabric, and it's done. It's a very easy, straightforward project. It's great practice, and you won't feel like you're just throwing fabric away. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll go and make your own placemat and have some fun with it and see what you can create. And I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and join me for more projects. Take care. Bye-bye.